What a night for President Donald Trump, with the exception of Bernie Sanders Vermont. It was a clean sweep for the former president when even winning California. Welcome to today's edition of Just the Truth. Glad to have you join me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose the weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. President Trump, big win last night on Super Tuesday. We got all the details plus some feedback as I spent the most of yesterday in western North Carolina. President Joe Biden lost his first contest in the race for the Democrat presidential nomination to a unknown candidate in the U.S. territory of American Samoa. Can you say Jason Palmer? Ever heard of him? And here we go again. Can we get to November fast enough? A Mexican national who was in the U.S. illegally has been arrested and is being held on a $1 million bail after allegedly crashing his vehicle into a Washington State patrol trooper, killing him. And Joe Biden thinks our border is secure. Hope you'll join today's conversation. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Firmin Ford text line. You can call, leave me a voice message, and your emails welcome. joey@joeyhudson.com.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
What a night for President Donald Trump. With the exception of Bernie Sanders Vermont, it was a clean sweep. Trump even won California, 169 delegates, I believe it was. I got a text from someone saying he didn't know there were 169 Republicans in California. Just before midnight, as the polls were closing in California, the Fox News decision desk projected that Trump had won the California Republican primary. In the 2016 GOP primary, Trump won the Golden State race against his Republican competitors by about 60 points. He took the stage at his Florida estate, Mar-a-Lago, just after 10 p.m. last night.
They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night, an amazing day. It's been an incredible period of time in our country's history. It's been sad in so many ways, but I think it's going to be inspiring because we're going to do something that, frankly, nobody's been able to do for a long time. We've watched our country take a great beating over the last 3 years, and nobody thought a thing like this would be possible. We wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. We wouldn't have Israel being attacked. Iran, as you know, was broke. When I was running things, they were broke. They didn't have money for Hamas. They didn't have money for Hezbollah. We had no inflation. Inflation is destroying the middle class. It's destroying everything. Inflation, if you look back over the history, hundreds of years back, it's called inflation. It's called a country buster. And that's what it's doing to our country. What's happened with inflation has been unbelievable. A lot of people say, a lot of experts have said the stock market's the only thing that's doing well, and that's doing well because our poll numbers are so much higher than Joe Biden's. He's the worst president in the history of our country. There's never been anything like what's happening to our country. Today it was announced that 325,000 people were flown in from parts unknown. Migrants were flown in, airplane, not going through borders, not going through that great Texas barrier that I was with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, the other day, and we were looking at the job they're doing. But in the meantime, they're pouring into California and they're pouring into Arizona because those governors aren't doing anything. They're doing nothing. But today it was just announced before I came out. It was unbelievable. I said, that must be a mistake. They flew 325,000 migrants, flew them in over the borders into our country. So that really tells you where they're coming from. They want open borders, and open borders are going to destroy our country.
Trump's latest win comes as the multi-state primary, dubbed Super Tuesday, allows voters in 15 states and 1 U.S. territory to cast their votes for who they want to represent them as their party's nominee in 2024. Trump's win also marks another defeat for former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley, who for some reason remains in the Republican race despite losing all but one primary to the former president, Washington, D.C. this past weekend, and adding to that list Bernie Sanders Vermont yesterday. In a statement reacting to the results of Super Tuesday elections, the campaign for the Republican candidate said there remains a large amount of Republican voters who continue to have, quote, deep concerns about former President Donald Trump's candidacy. In a statement, Haley's campaign said, "We're honored to have received the support of millions of Americans across the country today, including in Vermont, where Nikki became the first Republican woman to win the two presidential primary contests." Now that's, I don't know, is that something to be happy about? To be the first woman to win the Republican primary contest in Vermont? Haley went on to say, "Unity is not achieved by simply claiming we're united. Today, in state after state, there remains a large block of Republican primary voters who are expressing deep concerns about Donald Trump. That is not the unity our party needs for success. Addressing those voters' concerns will make the Republican Party and America better," she said. But this is not what I was hearing across western North Carolina yesterday as I talked with voters who were voting in the North Carolina GOP primary. There was a clear theme, and it wasn't that Nikki Haley should stay in the race. It was that it's time for Haley to get out of the race.
As far as after today, she'll probably need to bow out just because the Republican Party needs to come together and unify behind Donald Trump.
But yeah, I think that she needs to stand aside and she needs to come along with the GOP.
I thought she probably should have gotten out after about the third primary. I really don't see how she's staying in. But for the sake of the Republican Party and the sake of our country, I wish she would step aside for sure after tonight.
Nikki Haley's trying to play the spoiler route, but she has no chance. I don't know why she keeps on in this race at all. I think Donald Trump is the one everybody wants on the Republican side, and he's going to get it, the nomination.
I think it's more than time for her to drop out. She's nothing but a spoiler right now, and I cannot imagine why she's staying in there and claiming that she has a chance. She doesn't.
Did you happen to notice that the word spoiler came up with a couple of those folks? I appreciate everyone who took the time to talk with me yesterday, and I have a lot more feedback from Western North Carolina yesterday. Did you happen to notice also that President Trump never even mentioned Nikki Haley in his victory speech last night? What do you make of that? So here's my story. I had just started a segment with Mike Gallagher on the Salem News Channel. If you're not watching Salem News Channel, you need to be. Just go to snc.tv. You can also search for the Salem News Channel app on your phone or whatever device you listen to. Obviously, Mike had already told me that, hey, if Trump takes the stage, he was going to boot me. I was going to be out. I was on. This was about 10:15 or so. And so I was about two sentences in when I heard the guys talking in my ear, we got to go. Trump's coming on the stage. Now, again, this was about 10:15. So I was expecting the typical Trump speech, which can sometimes go on for an hour or more. So I thought, well, I'll just bail. But Mike says, nope, stay with me in case we come back. So I stayed connected. And sure enough, about 10:35 or so, Trump wraps things up, and we go. I rejoin Mike Gallagher. I'm texting Mike during the speech as he's in the studio in Tampa, Florida. I'm texting. He never mentioned her name. He never mentioned Nikki Haley. He never said those words. Never acknowledged she was in the race. So my question to you is Trump shifting to November? Was this his way of dissing Nikki Haley? Hey, and good for him. I'm glad he did not. I'm glad that he just completely ignored her. But that was a different Donald Trump. You agree? 864-477-JOEY. Send me a quick note on the Firmin Ford text line. 864-477-5639. Love to get your feedback on this. I always say that my listeners are the best political analysts in the world. Did you notice that? And am I reading too much into it? That he did not mention Nikki Haley? Love for you to call, leave me a voice message as well, 864-477-5639. As I mentioned earlier, I did spend yesterday traveling through Transylvania County. Saw some of my old friends at Lake Toxaway, met some new ones who had listened to 94.5 The Answer until last year when the company sold this station. I loved meeting so many of you at the Lake Toxaway Community Center yesterday who had been listeners, and I miss you guys, and I appreciate you missing us as well. But hey, we have the podcast, Just the Truth, so be sure and as I always ask you at the end, send this to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of your friends and recommend Just the Truth as we're building our community here. I love getting out and talking to people and seeing what's on their mind, particularly on Election Day. So I traveled, I started in Transylvania County, Lake Toxaway, Rosman, stopped over in Brevard, then headed up towards Hendersonville, stopped at a fire station, I think it's probably Mills River, then worked my way around where I ended up in just outside of Asheville, near the Asheville Airport. I guess it's considered Hendersonville. Last night, as I was set up there and did my appearance with Mike Gallagher, as we offered some analysis, if you will, on the Salem News Channel. So let me just share with you a few of the people I talked to yesterday. Chip was voting at the Lake Toxaway, North Carolina Community Center, says he's concerned about the direction our country's taken, as are many of us. He cited immigration, the economy, and the wars that our country is in now, and he says that Donald Trump is being persecuted, and he's voting to ensure that we continue to have freedom in America.
I'm personally very concerned about the direction our country is taking right now. You just look at our open borders and the fact that we're not able to contain people from coming in that are bringing drugs and other diseases, and among other things here in the United States. Just look at the international way that the world is taking advantage of the United States in these wars. We didn't have any of those 6-8 years ago. And just look at our economy. People here around me, right here in the mountains of western North Carolina, are hurting. We're in Appalachia, very rural, a lot of poverty here, and the folks here are just not able to put groceries on their table. So that is really concerning to me. I mean, what's happening in the political world, you just see where they're taking and going after our past President Trump and how they're trying to crucify him. But at the end of the day, he cares about America. He's a businessman. He knows how to get things done. He knows how to accomplish things and keep America the greatest. And so that's another reason why I'm here. I'm a Christian by faith, a strong Christian. I believe in the Christian values. I believe that our country is heading down the path of being a non-Christian nation, and also supporting what's happening in Israel as far as the atrocities of what Hamas has done to terrify and kill people in Israel, really God's chosen people. So that's why I'm here today. I'm here to vote. I'm here to do my duty, and I'm here to make sure that we have freedom in America.
And then I happened to meet Judd. Judd was voting in Brevard, And he said he was voting because of the lousy Biden administration, citing our weakness in world politics, and he believes that we need someone who will show our strength and believes Donald Trump is the candidate to do the job. Now, Judd admits he doesn't always like some of Trump's antics, but he says he likes what he is a whole lot, and it's a whole lot easier to like that than what we have.
It's important because we've got a lousy administration that's got to go. We've got to bring some people in that can get the job done and that don't lie all the time.
What are some of the important issues that you think need to be settled?
Immigration, inflation, overall economy, world politics. Those are the things that are high on my list. There's plenty of others, but those are the ones that need attention right now. Our global effect is nothing with Biden, and we've got to have somebody that shows strength and that knows how to do things.
And is there a candidate in the race that you think can do that today?
I do.
And would you mind sharing that with us?
I think it'll be Trump. Well, because we saw him do it before, and we've seen 4 years' worth of his work. There's some things about him that we don't like, but overall, liking what he is a whole lot easier than liking what we got.
Of course, as you can imagine, immigration was on the top of about everybody's mind yesterday. Spoke with Harvey, who says that immigration is his top issue, and he wants a president who will secure our border. He believes that taxpayers' money should be spent on other things. He suggested maybe we could take better care of our homeless vets.
Well, number one is immigration. I'd like to see us secure the border because right now there are a lot of illegal immigrants coming in. Sex slaves are coming in with them. Fentanyl's coming in with them. We've got to secure the border. This is crazy allowing these people to come in here on their own. So we're paying for their hotel. We're paying for their food. This is taxpayers' dollars. And the taxpayers' dollars should go to other things. We got homeless vets to take care of.
And then another common theme that I happen to notice, and boy, I love this one, but a lot of people mention their faith and the fact that they want to see our country turn back to God. Do you share that? I certainly do. Every day I end this podcast by telling you and reminding you that God's got this. He's in control. And unfortunately, so many situations in our country now, they just want to take God out of the equation, not put him back in. So it was refreshing to talk with people like Marsha and other North Carolina voters who mentioned their faith and how important Christian values are in choosing our next president.
I'm Marsha, and I'm a Christian, and I'm concerned that America is going the wrong direction, and I'm praying for a turnaround.
Those that are believers, those who seek after God, and you know what? It's much more than I could imagine.
So you just look around. I'm a Christian by faith, a strong Christian. I believe in Christian values. I believe that our country is heading down the path of being a non-Christian nation.
So the only thing that we can do is put faith in something more important than what, is on the ballot right now. Some people believe in, their own personal faith and their own personal God. Me personally, it's Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. That's just me personally. That's who we have to put our faith in.
864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Love your comments on the Firmin Ford text line. Leave a quick voice message. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. So you had to kind of laugh this one off, didn't you? Joe Biden lost his first contest in the race for his party's nomination to a little-known candidate in the U.S. territory of American Samoa. The Fox News Decision Desk projected that Jason Palmer, a self-described entrepreneur and investor, would win American Samoa's caucuses, taking 4 delegates to Biden's 2. On his campaign website, Palmer describes himself as a 52-year-old resident of Baltimore, Maryland, with leadership and executive experience working for companies like Microsoft and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, among others. According to Palmer, he also has 25 years of small business experience in addition to his executive-level experience. In a March 1st press release, Palmer's campaign says the businessman would appear on the ballot in the 16 states and territories, touting him as the youngest Democrat candidate for president. Reacting to his victory in American Samoa, Palmer posted on X, "Honored to announce my victory in the American Samoa presidential primary. Thank you to the incredible community for your support. This win is a testament to the power of our voices. Together we can rebuild the American dream and shape a brighter future for all." Biden's loss comes amid a string of Super Tuesday victories against his other opponents like Marianne Williamson and Minnesota Representative Dean Phillips. Earlier in the evening, Biden had won Iowa, Maine, Vermont, Virginia, Alabama, Texas, or Arkansas, Tennessee. Biden won North Carolina, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Phillips' home state of Minnesota. During the 2020 race for the Democrat presidential nomination, Biden lost the U.S. territory against his then competitors, capturing just 8% of the vote compared to Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' 10%, and Hawaiian Representative Tulsi Gabbard's 29%, and Michael Bloomberg, the New York billionaire's 50%. The contest was the only one that Michael Bloomberg won despite spending over $500 million, probably of his own money, throughout the campaign. As a territory, American Samoa does not get to vote in the general presidential election and is only permitted to send delegates to the convention during the primary season. So not really sure what there is to celebrate for Jason Palmer there, but hey, good for you, buddy. 864-477-5639. Glad to have you joining me as we kind of recap what we saw across the country yesterday. As I was driving through some of the backcountry yesterday, saw a lot of Ford pickup trucks. If you're looking for a new vehicle or maybe a pre-owned vehicle that you can trust, let me encourage you to go down to Firmin Ford in Lawrence and talk with my friend Matthew Firmin or Jim Firmin and let them show you around the lot there. What I love about Firmin Ford is they're locally owned and operated. We got to support our local businesses, and you just get that certain satisfaction that when you pull off of the lot at Firmin Ford, you know that your money is staying right in our community, the community that you love most. Let me encourage you to go to FirminFord.com, FirminFord.com. You can check out their inventory. If you're looking for service, they'll help you with that as well, whether you purchase your vehicle there or not, whether it's a Ford or not. They service all makes and models. FirminFord.com, FirminFord.com. A lot of text messages on the Firmin Ford text line. Ray says, "Good morning, Joey. It was a big night for President Trump. How many rhinos were primaried and lost? We conservatives must clean our own house." Texter, "Hey, Joey, it's Jennifer. You might have explained this along the way, and I could have missed it." Well, Jennifer, you got to listen every day. That's okay. But my question is this. If we're assuming Nikki Haley is hanging on to be, quote, next in line if Trump somehow fails to be able to not run again, I'm wondering what the rules are about that. If Trump is the primary winner, yet becomes unable to run in the general election for some reason, does that automatically open the door for Nikki because she will have been the runner-up in the primary? Or will there be a whole new rush primary? She seems to be staying in the race in order to run on those odds. Good question, Jennifer. And it's probably a lot more complicated, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. Basically, no. Nikki Haley would not be necessarily next in line as the runner-up. And there would not be another rush primary season if it were to happen. And it depends on the timing. Because and again, this is not going to happen. The only thing that would prevent Donald Trump from being on the ballot in November is if, God forbid, something does happen to him, if he were to pass away for some illness. And even then, depending on how soon or how close to the election, his name could still be on the ballot. But if, in fact, something happened and the party had the time, based on the various laws around the country, to have a replacement candidate, that would be something that the Republican National Committee would do based on their rules. There would not be a new primary season. Katrina writes, I agree with Mr. Lewis. Nikki is staying in just in case. Now, Katrina is referencing a column in the Daily Beast that Matt Lewis wrote. I talked about it yesterday, so if you missed this, go back to, I think that was episode 90, 94, 95, something like that. But Matt Lewis, it's a pretty good opinion piece, a little tongue-in-cheek, of what Nikki Haley probably should say. He seems to be a Haley supporter, or maybe just a anti-Trump person. Franklin says, in regards to Matt Lewis, I got a lot of comments on that, by the way. This whole ordeal is a scam. The 91 allegations are wrong and unjustified. The Democrats have been attacking Trump since he started running for president the first time. They don't want him in there, which is the reason why I want him in there. He needs to clean up the swamp. Faye writes, Joey, my goodness, I'm watching folks in Virginia saying Biden has done a great job. Doing what? These folks must live in a hospital somewhere. They live in the world different from me for sure. I think he's the worst in my lifetime, and my 20th birthday was a long time ago. Lord, please help save our country from the evil ones. You're right, Faye. Susan says, is Nikki Haley hoping that Trump dies? She's become such a horrid person, I wouldn't put it past her. Nikki Haley lied her way onto the debate stage. You know, I did, in talking with people yesterday in North Carolina, some people did suggest that Haley was just hanging on with, I'm not going to say the hopes, but in case the unthinkable did happen. And a lot of people did talk about the idea that she has now had second thoughts on that pledge that she signed to get on the debate stage. Phil writes, really, 176 Republican delegates in California? I didn't think there were 176 Republicans left in California. Laugh out loud. You're right there, Phil. A says the Supreme Court got it right. This should also reflect on the lies of the left. Nikki Haley is a turncoat. I'd love to ask her if she really believes that President Trump is guilty of the crimes that he's accused of. And our text of encouragement, shalom before surrender. Remember the reason you started. God bless. Appreciate that, Joel, and hope you're feeling better. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your text or welcome on the Firmin Ford text line. Leave me a voice message. Send me an email, joey@joeyhudson.com. November just cannot get here soon enough, folks. A Mexican national who was in the U.S. illegally has been arrested and is being held on a $1 million bond after allegedly crashing his vehicle into a Washington State trooper and unfortunately killing him. First, let me talk with you about Discounted Appliance Warehouse. Do you need a new refrigerator, a new washer dryer, maybe a new dishwasher? Whatever the appliance is you need, or maybe you're just upgrading your kitchen. You got a whole remodel going on and you need all new appliances. You want them as soon as possible. You don't want to have to wait. Well, that's why you need to head over to Pickens and talk with Jeff, Johnny, Kyle, the whole team at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. Let them help you. If you're tired of dealing with some of the folks in the big box stores who know nothing about appliances other than they're on aisle 39, you need to be talking with Discounted Appliance Warehouse. They've got you covered well after the sale, too. That's because you're more than just a credit card swipe to Discounted Appliance Warehouse. They really do treat you like family. I know personally because they've treated me like family for a long, long time now. They're proud to offer Speed Queen, the only washer and dryers with manufacturer's warranties that cover parts and labor for up to 7 years. Find them online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. So here's the story. Trooper Christopher Gadd, 27 years old, was watching for speeding and DUI drivers when he was struck and killed in a 3-vehicle crash on Interstate 5 in the state of Washington. An investigation into the crash found an SUV being driven by a 33-year-old Raul Santana, who was heading southbound on the interstate when the vehicle veered onto the shoulder and struck the trooper's patrol car. The Snohomish, that's a mouthful. The Snohomish County Sheriff's Office reportedly found the SUV was traveling at a high rate of speed when it crashed into the law enforcement officer's vehicle. Local Fox affiliate in Seattle reported it had obtained court documents alleging that Santana had bloodshot eyes and admitted to the police he had been drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana before getting behind the wheel of the vehicle and driving. Santana was booked into the Snohomish County Jail, where the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Seattle Enforcement Removal Operation, that is a mouthful too, known as ERO Division, placed an immigration detainer on the Mexican citizen. Well, thank goodness they did that. A spokesman for ICE said as one of the operational directorates associated with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, our Seattle office lodges immigration detainers against non-citizens who have been arrested for criminal activity and taken into custody by state or local law enforcement. The only problem is I'm glad they did that, and I hope that he is convicted and spends a long time in jail. The problem is they didn't do it soon enough. An ICE official confirmed Santana is a citizen of Mexico and that he was in the U.S. unlawfully after entering the country at an unknown date and time. Here's what we do know. He was first encountered in Seattle on October 28, 2013 at the South Correctional Entity in Burien, Washington, after being arrested for failing to appear in court for driving on a suspended license charge. In May of 2013, Santana was sentenced to 90 days behind bars, with 87 of those days suspended after he was convicted of being in possession of 40 grams or fewer of marijuana. Now, why were 87 days out of 90 suspended? What judge did that? It gets better. October 6, 2014, Santana was sentenced to 90 days for driving on a suspended license, and in May of 2019, he was arrested again for domestic violence and assault. Yet, he was still in our country and killed a law enforcement officer. What is wrong with that picture? Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. That wraps up today's edition of Just the Truth. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you are one of those who likes to eat when you're not really hungry, we call that emotional eating. And I can relate. I'm a chocoholic. Or let me say I'm a recovering chocoholic. I love chocolate. But through Dr. Ashley Lucas and the team at PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, I have learned how to not let chocolate be my crutch to deal with stress. I changed my relationship with chocolate over 3 years ago now, with the help of Dr. Lucas and her team at PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. I was able to lose 30 pounds. I've been able to maintain that weight. I feel better. I'm healthier. You can be too. If you need to lose weight 10, 20, 30 pounds or more, I've had listeners who've lost 135 pounds and they've gotten their life back. This could be you too. Call today. Set up that initial consultation, 864-252-4925. Visit them online at myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition, the official partner of the Clemson Tigers. Hey, if you haven't joined our mailing list, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so you can receive our emails with the most up-to-date news. Also, find me on YouTube. I got some good stuff I'm going to be adding there on my trip to Israel. You don't want to miss it. So just search for Joey Hudson on YouTube and be sure and subscribe and hit the notifications so that you are notified when I upload something new. Can't find it, just send me a quick text or an email. I'll send you the link. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. Be sure and recommend Just the Truth to your family and friends. Forward this episode right now to a couple of people. Let them know that we're doing something special here on Just the Truth. Keep your comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. Keep those emails coming too. Joey@joeyhudson.com. We'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, Remember, folks, God's got this. He's still in control.